Hello and welcome back to This Week in New Genre Books. My name is Amelia and from Locus Magazine we're going to tell you all about the new science fiction, fantasy, horror, and related books being published the week of January 21st, 2025. We have no new science fiction this week, some horror, and a lot of ancient fantasy inspired by warriors, fae, and cosmic nymphs. Stick around to the end to get your science fiction update. First up horror, we have two titles. From Ava Burke, we have Haunting and Homicide, out from Crooked Lane in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a paranormal mystery novel, first in the Ghost Tour mystery series. Tallulah Lou Thatcher can see ghosts, which helps her host viral ghost tours in New Orleans. I have questions like, what languages do the ghosts speak? When her rival tour guide is murdered by a dagger from her shop, she's the prime suspect. She has to use her powers to figure out who's framing her. From Edward Lee and Mary Sangiovanni, we have Strange Stones, out from Clash Books in paperback and ebook. This is a Lovecraftian horror novel. A controversial weird fiction critic makes a living from dismantling Lovecraft and Lovecraft idolatry. He angers a beautiful witch, never a good idea, who happens to be a devotee of Lovecraft's work. She casts a spell on him, sending him to a dimension where Lovecraft's works are real. Do me a favor, put us in the dimension where you like this video. It really helps us bring the hive mind together. Next up fantasy, we have 6 titles. Why so few books this week? Well, publishers do track other books that are coming out, and this Tuesday we saw the release of Rebecca Yarros' much anticipated Onx Storm, third in the Empyrean series, out from Red Tower in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is an adult fantasy romance novel set in an elite military college for dragon riders. I mean, if you're going to go to a military college for dragon riders, it should be a T-14 school, shouldn't it? They'll have the best dragons at the elite schools. At this college, Violet Sorrengail sets out to raise an army and win allies to aid in her kingdom's desperate battle. Comes in a deluxe limited edition with stenciled sprayed edges. From Linda H. Codega, we have debut novel Moth Eater, out from Erewhon in hardcover and ebook. This is a queer Appalachian fantasy novel. Benny Maddox investigates her best friend's death in a coal mine. What she finds is a white woman who claims to be an Appalachian witch who has slept for 150 years. From PC Cast, we have Boudicca, out from Morrow in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a historical romantic fantasy based on the life of the ancient British queen. As Boudicca, a tribal leader, pursues a bloody campaign against invading Romans, her druid priestess Ron foresees a terrible end. Determined to succeed, Boudicca entrusts Ron to change the future, drawing on the powers of the underworld. From Kritika H. Rao, we have The Legend of Meneka, out from Harper Forager US in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a fantasy romance novel, the first book in the Divine Dancers duology. It's based on an Indian myth of Meneka, a celestial apsara or nymph tasked with seducing a mortal sage. Heavenly King Indra sends Meneka to seduce an ambitious scholar, but she falls in love with him instead. Love is feisty like that. From Lyra Selene, we have A Crown So Silver, out from Orbit US in paperback, ebook, and audio. This is a fantasy romance novel, the second in the Fair Folk trilogy. Heroine Fia and her husband Irian become drawn into a magical competition on the Silver Isle, a magical place on the borders of Fae country, ruled by a cunning Smith King. From Yu Yong Guang, we have The Rainfall Market, out from Ace in hardcover, and ebook, and audio. This is a cozy fantasy novel translated by Slin Jung. A teen plagued by misfortune gets a ticket to the fabled Rainfall Market that will allow her to pick a new life. But she only has 1 week to spend viewing possible lives before she has to choose. And because we're missing our science fiction this week, look, sometimes that's how the cards fall, I'll loop in a couple of recent science fiction titles, in case you missed it. Let's start with The Way by Carrie Groner, out from Spiegel and Grau in hardcover, published in December 2024. From the review in Locus by Ian Mond, in Carrie Groner's second novel, The Way, a heavily mutated and infectious avian flu wipes out 80% of humanity. The event, dubbed Mayhem by the survivors, leads to the expected breakdown of civilization. Starvation, migration, a brief, limited nuclear exchange, then finally the return of endemic diseases like TB, diphtheria, typhoid, cholera, malaria, and plague. But also the emergence of a new pathogen, Disease X, which lies dormant until a person hits their 40s, eating away at their sanity until they die. Will Collins is 52 years old, yet to feel the bite of Disease X. Once a science writer haunted by his wife's death, he has spent the last 15 years alone as the caretaker of a Dharma center in Colorado. An unexpected message from an old scientist friend has Will leave the relative safety of Colorado for California. There, he will hand over a possible cure to Disease X contained in a tiny ampule, a tenth of the size of my smallest fingernail, secreted inside his body. He hasn't been told where. But Will's survival is not assured. Post-apocalyptic challenges aside, the leader of the American Revolutionary Militia, a brute named Flynn, is on Will's heels, desperate to get his hands on the cure. All Will has on his side are his wits, 2 hardworking mules, and the companionship of Pew the Raven and Cassie the Cat, with whom he can communicate. Yes, I might have buried the lead. Will can talk to and understand the language of his raven and cat. Next up, Interstellar Mega Chef by Lavanya Lakshminarayan, out from Solaris and trade paperback, published in November 2024. From the review in Locus by Ian Mond. I've always loved a good cooking show. Back in the day, it was Top Chef, where a contestant always undercooked the chicken, and Great British Menu, where every pudding had to include rhubarb. Now I'm obsessed with Uncle Roger's YouTube channel. His takedown of Jamie Oliver's egg fried rice, with 28 million views and over 1 million likes, is legendary. Competition cooking, but also the experience and cultural significance of preparing and tasting food, is central to Lavanya Lakshminarayan's excellent new novel, Interstellar Mega Chef, the first in a series and the follow-up to her superb Clark Award-nominated debut, The 10% Thief. More than just a foodie's delight, I promise it will make your stomach grumble. Interstellar Mega Chef is an intelligent dissection of utopian societies and the insidious nature of cultural imperialism. Finally, I want to tell you about Death of the Author, published by Nnedi Okorafor, out from Morrow in hardcover, published in January 2025. From the review in Locus by Gary K. Wolfe, who always knows more about a given topic than I do. For a certain generation of academics, The Death of the Author is the title of an influential 1967 essay by Roland Barthes, arguing against interpreting literature in terms of the author's identity or psychology. Nnedi Okorafor's Death of the Author makes a brief and oblique reference to this in an early chapter in which the protagonist, Zelu Oyenzi Oyedele, an adjunct professor teaching a creative writing class, has the phrase thrown back at her by a surly student. But the phrase eventually takes on a number of additional meanings, one of which only becomes clear only as an ingenious metafictional twist very late in the novel. Perhaps the most important of these meanings, though, is that it may serve as a caution for readers to avoid the temptation of resorting to easy autobiographical readings of what has been widely publicized as Okorafor's first mainstream novel, though there's a fair bit of SF in it, and one that may seem to invite comparisons to other recent novels about novelists, such as R.F. Kuang's Yellowface or Percival Everett's Erasure, the source of the film American Fiction. Certainly, readers familiar with Okorafor's career or her TED Talk and book Broken Places and Outer Spaces can spot a few parallels. Zelu is also an American-born daughter of Nigerian immigrants living in the Chicago area. She also has a complicated relationship with Nigeria itself and a family she visits there. She teaches creative writing in a university and becomes a successful SF writer, and her painful recovery from a childhood accident that left her paraplegic is so convincingly described that it may reflect the author's own experience with scoliosis, mobility, and balance issues. But so what? Zelu is entirely her own character, often impulsive and not always sympathetic, and her issues with family, identity, and fame are her own as well, which is especially significant since negotiating the hazards of family life and cultural heritage is one of the major engines of the plot, and the most compelling. We first meet Zelu at her sister's wedding in Tobago, where her celebratory mood is dashed by the double whammy of discovering that she's been fired from her adjunct teaching job, and that her ambitious literary novel, she mentions she'd once wanted to write like Jamaica Kincaid, has been rejected by just about every publisher. In frustration, she begins work on a post-human SF epic called Rusted Robots, which eventually becomes an unlikely fever dream of both literary and commercial success, a massive bestseller which gains mainstream literary awards and leads to multi-million-dollar deals, including a blockbuster movie, instantly making Zello into an international celebrity. That wraps up this week. Thank you for sticking with this video until the end. Please subscribe so we can find you next week with more new books. You're fully informed now, but there will be a whole new crop of books next week. Want to keep up? We got you. Come see us on the socials at Locus Mag or at Locus Magazine. We'll keep you posted on what's going on with your favorite science fiction, fantasy, and horror authors, and introduce you to some new ones as well. Locus is a 501c3 nonprofit. Thanks for spending your precious time with us. We'll see you next week with more new books.